It's that time again. It's time for another Saturday night special where we talk about everything rockhounding related. This past week, went to the Lakeside Gem and Mineral Club's annual rock show, and it was great. When we were there, you know, it's had some top tier display cases. I think many of them were exceptionally good, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. I will definitely be going back there again. You might notice here that, well, I have some rotating displays now. I saw these, I think I first saw these at Mike's lapidary shop in the Tri-Cities, and it was just, it didn't dawn on me really what I was looking at. And then we saw them again at the show, and I was like, I need these. This is super cool. These are little tiny displays that rotate. They have like 4 little solar panels on them, kind of like a little calculator. They do take you can put a battery in them. I don't like that. I don't like things that you just have to throw like AA batteries at. You know, I prefer something that you can plug in, that's rechargeable, or in this case, solar. And it really, I think it dresses up a display case quite nicely. You know, right now, out here in the shop, they are just running off of my shop lights, and similarly in one of my display cases that I'm going to have these in, they're just running off of the LED lights. They spin a little bit better out here than they do in the case, but they're great. And I think the presentation is nice. You know, Patrick Donahue left a comment on the show video talking about how that the club puts such an emphasis, right, on education, which I think is great. Like, I love that aspect of what they're doing there. That's not always the case, though, with these shows and with different clubs, you know. It really is a big mixed bag out there. And some clubs actually have quite a good amount of money. And I know this for a fact because, you know, they will have their business meeting write-ups, like the minutes in their newsletters, where they get a treasurer's report and they're talking about, you know, how much money they have. But it doesn't seem like they do much outreach at all. And when you go back over the years, we look at these clubs and they have, you know, do a show and they end that calendar year with $20,000, $25,000. Next year it's, $35,000. Some of these clubs are, you know, 6 figures in their coffers. Now, of course, there's bills, if they have a clubhouse, all of that. But if you have $80,000 as a rock club, man, you should take some of that money and get people to come speak at your club. There's so much outreach that you could do with that type of money. There's so much good that could be done, and I don't generally see that coming out of some of these clubs, which it's a disappointment, you know. At some point, you have enough money saved up as a, nonprofit, which most rock clubs are nonprofits. You should reinvest into outreach and different things like that. So it's great that they are doing good work down there at the Lakeside Gem and Mineral Club. Almost all of the cases that I saw had labels, which that's excellent. You know, it always dumbfounds me about the lack of labels. Like, you went through all of the effort, right, to buy specimens, collect specimens, cut, polish specimens, and you went through the effort of joining a rock club, getting a display case at a show, and you didn't put in the effort to be like, calcite, hewlandite, CA, you know, like you didn't do that. Which, man, you did 99% of the work, and you slacked on the hitting print on the computer. It blows my mind. Every time we go to some of these shows and I walk around and I look at the different vendors there's always some standout vendors that do a really good job with their, you know, the materials that they have, price tags on things, labels on things. Like in the case of this guy right here that I bought, a little hewlandite CA. We can look at the label for this guy, And that's great. That's perfect. This is, I save these. It's going to go in my little binder of labels. It'll match up with that. Great. And then you go to some vendors and I'm like, why? Not necessarily the Lakeside show, but I really question, why are they even doing this? And I think that brings up the bigger topic of this hobby. There's a lot of people in the rockhounding, mineral, lapidary world who want to make it a side hustle, make it their full-time job, more so than most hobbies, right? Like we look at other hobbies, like let's say you want to golf, stand-up paddleboard, fishing, whatever. There's a lot. We can name a long list of hobbies that there's no real monetization of the hobby. It's a thing you spend money on and you enjoy. It's tough. There's a lot of people getting into the lapidary world, and I don't think they should be. You're not cut out for everybody to be a sole proprietor of something. Let me give you a couple of examples of when I think it's really, really smart to have a rock-related business. Right here is a big piece of petrified wood that I collected with Sarah. This was one of our first real rockhounding trips to the Hollywood Ranch, and I guess it'd be kind of like the southern part of the Willamette Valley in Oregon. Hollywood Ranch, petrified wood, kind of looks like that. Kind of looks like a chicken. So, Hollywood Ranch, private property. Somebody's got an endless supply of petrified wood, literally in their backyard. This is great material. And man, if you have a backyard full of petrified wood, well, hey, have a business where people can come pay some money and come out and dig. Makes a ton of sense. Are you finding top tier agates? Right? Like this is a fabulous piece from my buddy, the Gravel Bar Hopper. Unfortunately, he's not really putting up much content anymore, but a beautiful agate that he gave me. This isn't a killer piece. That's a great piece. Are you doing cut and polishes of material, right? How about, is it a top tier material? I think, hey, that's great. You could probably have at it. Are you selling world-class specimens? Okay. Do you have things like this? Hey, if you do, all good on you, right? Like you're doing great. How can I set that so looks nice? Let's do that right there. Okay. Do you have things like these? Great. Where it gets tricky, where it gets hard is when somebody is like, I'm new to the lapidary world. I don't have many skills. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm going to buy a cab machine. And I'm going to buy like retail rough, polish it up, and sell those cabs for a profit. Easier said than done, everybody. Easier said than done. And I think usually people around them kind of do them a disservice. It reminds me of all those singing audition shows where somebody's just completely horrible singer, and all of their friends and family have lied to them and told them they're amazing, and they go out and embarrass themselves. The lapidary version of that is maybe you vend at a show and nobody comes up to your booth for the most part, and you make very little sales because you're tumbling rocks, or you're taking stuff over to a cab machine, and you're gluing a bale on it and calling it finished jewelry. And there's just a lot of that. And it's I don't want to like rain on somebody's parade, but I have known people that have gone all in on machines being like, I'm going to start a business. And it's hard. It's hard to take something that you maybe paid like a retail price for, or just below retail price, but not really bulk wholesale, cut and polish it, right? and sell it at a reasonable profit that allows it to be a sustainable money-making venture for you. Just not doable by many people, you know? And a lot of people out there have never worked for themselves. You've never had to pay taxes quarterly. You've never had to really budget. You know, everybody I've talked to that's very serious about the rock business, either, lapidary, faceting, they have a mineral claim, what do I think? Lapidaries, just all of it. Vendors, resellers. You definitely do not make as much money doing this as you would, like, I don't know, a normal job, a job in an office, right? You're an accountant. If you are an accountant, you are making more money as like a CPA, whatever, or doing somebody's taxes or books for a big company than you would ever make doing lapidary stuff. And there's just a lot of real basic lapidary out there. And, you know, maybe don't be like, step 1, buy a Cab King. Step 2, polish rocks. Step 3, make an Etsy store and then retire. Like, that's oversimplification of what it's like to do business in this world, and just not everybody's cut out for it. But I do find it really fascinating the number of people that really want to monetize this. And I would say, if you're thinking about monetizing this, baby steps, tiny baby steps. You have a lot of competition out there, right? You know, if your plan is to make money selling cabs, well, you know, you can get basically flawless cabochons imported into America, and you're paying, like, you know, if you're buying them by like the 1,000, right? You can get that price down to like 50 cents. And this is like beautiful. You know, it's cut in a cutting shop, like in, you know, Indonesia. They're all flawless in every way. They look excellent, to be totally honest. They're probably coming off of a duplicating machine. And then, you know, they run them on a duplicator, they throw them in a vibratory tumbler, and they're looking flawless. They take them out, they maybe touch up each one if it needs touching up, and that's the way that goes. You can't compete on that. You have to have special materials, special stuff. If you're thinking about it, you're serious about it, have something extra special that sets you apart from anybody else out there. Far too many people just have Etsy stores with material that, to be quite honest, I don't think is ever going to sell. I don't think it's ever going to sell. Man, I think that about wraps this one up, everybody. I appreciate you. Starting next week, I am pumped. I've been planning these trips, right, all winter, and we're finally starting to execute the plans, and you know, it's great. I have some videos coming up that mean a lot to me, and I hope they will mean a lot to you as well. And with that said, we're going to leave this one here. Practice your lapidary. Maybe hold off on selling your lapidary. You may not be good enough. And, you know, don't shoot the messenger. All right, everybody. Y'all take care, and I'll catch you in the next video.